with the Western Australian Government and their emergency service personnel, and can I thank them for the tireless work that they've undertaken over the last couple of days. That journey is going to get even harder in the coming hours as we understand conditions are going to worsen in this afternoon. And can I say to all residents that are in the area of risk, please listen to emergency service personnel. You must take their warnings and you must act when they ask you to act. These men and women are putting their lives on the line for you. It is not only a responsibility of you to look after yourself and your family, but you have a responsibility to them to do as they ask you. This is a serious situation, and it can't be a she'll be right sort of attitude to this. This is a dangerous situation where, fortunately, we haven't had any loss of life. But if you do not listen to emergency service personnel, there is a real risk of that. So I just ask any resident in the area at risk to take heed of those warnings. The federal government's already worked with the Western Australian Government, and yesterday we sent an Australian Defence Force asset with retardant to Western Australia to support them. And I've got to say, and can I congratulate not just the Western Australia Fire Commissioner, but the fire commissioners from around the country who preemptively had a large aerial tanker positioned in Western Australia before these fires started and before the season started. And New South Wales, in our coordinated method of aerial assets in this country, has sent a further asset over. And any further assets or support that's required from Western Australia will be provided. And in fact, I spoke to the Western Australian Emergency Service Minister this morning and reaffirmed the fact that if they required any further federal assistance, then we will be there to support them. But we at the federal government, as a result of advice from Emergency Management Australia, are initiating disaster recovery payments for those people that have had damage to their properties. We have lost 71 homes. This is $1,000 per adult and $400 per child. This is simply to give them some dignity and respect in a trying time, to allow them to know that they'll be able to get the essentials. The Australian Commonwealth is there with them, and after discussions with the WA Minister, there will be further announcements between ourselves and the Western Australian Government later. But this is an initiation of a payment to let those people that have been impacted by this know that the federal government is there to support them. We will continue to make sure that there are further assessments made, and if there's further support that is required, we will do whatever it takes. We will be there with them. This money is available from 8 a.m. tomorrow through Services Australia, through Centrelink, and we would encourage anyone that has had damage to their property to come forward and not to self-assess. The Australian people are here to support you. Please do not think that there should be any stigma about asking for support in your hour of need. We are a rich country and we should support one another when times are tough. And the federal government has initiated this on the premise that Western Australia needs a helping hand. Western Australia was there for us on the East Coast last year. It's time for us to reciprocate and let everyone in the WA area of concern know that the Australian Government and the Australian people are there to support them. But please, this is a trying time, this is a dangerous situation. Please do not underestimate what can happen. We have the complexity also of a very significant rain depression that's coming down that will change wind direction and also have lightning into the bushfire area. That makes it even more dangerous coming into this afternoon. So again, I just plead with all residents, please do take this seriously. Listen to the warnings, make sure you heed it and act appropriately.